Hello, everyone. Oh, hold on. More people are joining. Welcome to the Visionary Leaders Podcast. My name is Aisha Harley, and I'm one of the founders, and we are thrilled to have you join us here. Join us every Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time as we explore all things wellness, essential oils, and doTERRA. If you miss an episode, you can catch up anytime on YouTube, Apple Podcast, or Spotify, and stay connected by signing up for our newsletters and text reminders at hellovisionary.life. Today, we are going to talk some business, and we have Blue Diamond leader, Marty Harger, and she is joining us with special guest, Stephanie Smith, who is tuning in from Heber City, Utah, and Shannon Fox, who is in Franklin, Tennessee. They were both top enrollers in 2024, and they will be sharing with us their pro enrolling tips so we can implement that in our new year. So Marty, I'm going to pass the call on over to you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Aisha. I appreciate it. And hello, everybody. Welcome. And thank you so much for logging on today for a special discussion. We're going to be talking with two of my team's top enrollers from 2024. And I think that this is a really relevant topic because a lot of us are firing up the engines and getting ready for the new year and looking at different ways that we can share doTERRA and enroll new people in our teams. All of you on this call and everybody that's listening to it that is a part of the Visionary Leaders or the Into Oils / Inspiration Nation team, you all were introduced to doTERRA by somebody. And I'm not sure how that happened for you, but you know your story. And so one of the things that's always so interesting, I think, is to get a current discussion going about what's working for people. What is a great way to do that? And, there's so many great opportunities to get your oils for free, to get your oils discounted, to earn a part-time income or even a full-time income with doTERRA. And the opportunity has never been greater than before. There are tremendous incentives for people to become members. They no longer need social security numbers. They no longer need to buy a membership. We've taken away all those obstacles, and now it's up to us, right? It's up to us to get out there and spread the good word. And one of the things, some people are focused in the essential oils, some people are focused in the products, the wellness products, some like to combine the two. doTERRA is doing a great job of offering us opportunities for all those. So today we thought it would be helpful to take a few minutes, and I've got some questions that I'm going to ask Stephanie Smith, who's one of our Diamond team leaders, and Shannon Fox, who's one of our Silver team leaders. Stephanie and I live about a mile from each other in the same community, and Shannon and I live a couple thousand miles away from each other, but we've all been involved in doTERRA for quite a while. So I think that this is going to be an interesting discussion because part of what I want them to talk about today, as I ask them these questions, is I want you to listen for the path that they followed to get them to where they are as a top enroller now, because it's not an instant process. It's a long-term process, and it requires, like any good profession, trial and error, education, commitment, and sacrifice. And I think you're going to really enjoy hearing their stories. So I'm going to start with Stephanie because I know that she's got quite a great history. So Steph, if you could I'm not sure why this is asking me if I want to speak Italian, but which I don't even know. Ciao. Stephanie, if you could unmute your line, that would be great. And I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Or Aisha, could you unmute Stephanie, please? All right. The first thing I thought would be helpful, once we get her unmuted, will be to ask if we can hear a little bit about her background. So for some reason, can you get that Stephanie unmuted?
Hold on, I'm asking her to unmute. So are you seeing that on your side?
No.
Okay, strange. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can do that.
So while we're holding for that,
can you log out and log back in? Because I'm asking, but if it's not coming through, I can't unmute you on my side. Sorry about that.
And Shannon, you may end up having
Here, Shannon, let me try you two to make sure that we can get you.
Shannon is unmuted.
Okay.
Stephanie is not, but is still logged in. Uh, let's see if Steph can unmute, and if not, I'll go ahead with Shannon while Steph logs off and on, okay? Okay, Shannon, let's start with you then. If you could unmute your line, that would be terrific.
Okay,
Okay, good morning.
good morning.
Tennessee.
Hi, everyone.
So, Shannon, could you tell us a little bit about how you got started with doTERRA and when in that process did you decide to start building a business?
So I had been given some samples. My daughter was 10 months old, and she, like my husband, had issues going to the bathroom. And I remember having to pull her out of the car seat and knead her stomach because she could not go. And I was like, there has to be something else. And so I was at Bible study. I was in a mom's Bible study, and I was telling one of my friends, and she's like, oh, I've got an oil for that. And oh, wow, it's now asking me if I speak Italian. No. So I got some samples, and so this was about the beginning of 2014-ish, and I was pregnant with my son. And so then so then I got oils. I was getting into the whole more natural lifestyle, and I was then given, my friend who'd given me the samples gave me a bunch of oils to put on my son when he was born. And so we did that, and he was born in July. And then right after that, I enrolled as a wellness customer. And back then, I think it was just customer. And so then I realized how amazing these products were in the oils. And I just started talking about them and sharing them. And so my upline sat down, well, both of them sat down, and they're like, have you ever thought about doing this as a business? And I'm like, no. And they're like, let's just host a class and just see what happens. And I'm like, all right, fine. So we hosted our first class, and I'm kind of like I like to talk, if you don't know. So I was like, I could teach the first little part of it, like the 3 ways. And so I started teaching, and my son is highly allergic to peanuts, and someone had brought in peanuts, and he was coughing, and he couldn't catch his breath. And we actually used the oils on him. We used Breathe and Lavender, and I enrolled every single person in that class. Granted, there was only 4 people, but there was still like 4 people. And so I was all excited. And I slowly kind of did that, but it wasn't until that next January where we ran pre-elite, and that program for 8 weeks, learning how to become an elite, that I really dove in deep into becoming a business builder.
So Shannon, I remember that you were living in Colorado at that time, right?
Yes. Yes.
And since that time, you have moved not just once, but twice
Yes.
to your current place. And so how has that affected your doTERRA business building, moving from different communities?
Well, in Colorado, we had set roots up. So I did a lot of in-person classes. I was doing in-person, everything was in person. And then when I got up and had to move and then move again, I finally started changing over into more of the online space. Because then it didn't matter where I was, I could still be nurturing and enrolling that way. So it for me, I had to make that switch when we moved.
Okay, so I know you're a busy mom. You homeschool your kids and you keep a house and you have been the top enroller in our team this last year. And it was a pretty remarkable number that you hit. Tell us a little bit about this online effort that you've done, because I think one of the things, sometimes people see your results and they assume that it's a super swift process to just start, putting little happy faces on Facebook and Instagram, and all of a sudden, boom, people come want to sign up and be a part of your business. Tell us a little bit about that path, that journey, Shannon, of, were you a techie person? Is this why you decided to do that?
No, I was not techie. It was kind of like I knew I had to do something, and what could I do at this moment? So I dove in deep, and it has taken a while. Like, it's been over 3 years that I started doing this. And I jumped in and was like, okay, I've got to learn email marketing. Everybody says you own like social media, you could have this huge following, but it's your email list That's really important. And that's where most of mine are coming from, is that nurturing and loving on them in that email. And so it was years. I spent hours learning the tech, learning the behind the scenes, learning the tricks of the trade of email marketing, getting coaching on that. And so I wish it was overnight, but it is literally, I'm seeing the fruit. Last year was the fruits of my labor for 2 years before, over 2 years. So it takes a while. It's not an instant. You can have an instant viral TikTok or reel or whatever. That's not going to result in enrollments.
So the enrollment process for you is an online process then.
Mm-hmm.
And then how do you stay connected with your people? You mentioned email. Do you talk to these people, or tell us a little bit about those relationships that you're trying to nurture then?
Yes, so I'm a influencer first and then a relationship builder second. So relationship is very important to me. And so I have a lot of things that are automated, but you can't automate me. Like I have automations that are automatically will send out an email and send them stuff, but it goes a long way when even you just pick up the phone or call and text. And so I made it a goal of mine to reach out to 5 people a day, Monday through Friday, to connect with them. And it didn't all have to be about doTERRA. Some of them are obviously doTERRA, some of them are not. Some of them I just was, faith is important to me. So I would pray the night before, like, who are the 5 people I need to have on my list for tomorrow? And so I would write those down. And sometimes it would just be out of the blue, like, oh, I need to put this person on my list for tomorrow, or call them. And sometimes it was just, hey, I saw this event happened on your Facebook page. How are you? And it never really, but then it started the conversation, and then we started talking, and then they were like, oh, what are you doing? Are you still doing those oils? Well, actually, yes, I am. And guess what? You're struggling with some sleep. I've got something for you, And so those kind of conversations are important, because you can have all the automations, but people know when they're automated. I mean, I love that I can set up my emails for all week and they get emailed, but there's nothing that can replace that actual phone call. And so if 5 seems like a lot at first, I started off with 3, just contacting 3 people, and it's built up to at least 5 a day.
That's great. So really a part of that then is kind of relates to another question I was going to ask, which is around entrepreneurial habits that have basically led to some of your business success. So it sounds like you've put a discipline around that. Just out of curiosity, what time of day do you fit that in, since you're homeschooling your kids?
It depends, and it also depends on who it is, because some people, like, I'm Central Time, so a lot of my people are moms, so I'll call them while the kids are at school, or even car line, when I know, like, some of them go sit in car line for 20 or 30 minutes. It's a great time to contact them. So I kind of have to fit it in, but I do time block it, like pockets of, like, here, this 20 minutes, this 20 minutes, this 20 minutes, throughout my day, just to make sure that I do stay around that. I also think personal development, reading books, has been huge. I commit 15 minutes, at least 15 minutes a day, to doing that. That's another one of my habits that I do. So
That's great. Well, so one of the questions I have, because with doTERRA, those of us that are looking at the business opportunity this year, we're really going to be focusing more and more on not just the enrollment, but the continuous use of the products through the rewards program. And I'm wondering, what's your thinking on that? Because, we've kind of come out of this era where we've been trying to just get people to the dance, if you will. Now we're kind of moving into this next phase with doTERRA, which is more about kind of back to the basics, like when you first enrolled. Do you have any thoughts about that, of some approaches that you're imagining that will make the rewards program more common in your enrollment base?
Well, I think sometimes for me, people don't start off on rewards. I'm going to try and not say LRP, rewards, because they don't know. They haven't ever experienced essential oils. But I feel like if you're talking to them, and especially you get them on stuff like the VMG or Serenity Soft Gels is a big one for my people. Just because a lot of moms, if you get them onto those supplements, they'll realize quickly that they need those every month. And so I think it's a point of trying to incorporate with them and have that conversation of what their goals are. And this is partly what I'm creating my plan for this year as well, is like really focusing in on what their health goals are and what supplements we can implement in order to get them on that LRP. And really teaching them the importance and value of LRP or rewards. Sorry.
Yeah. That's okay. We all have been around. We know what you mean.
No,
Okay, so let me
I
ask you.
think that it's just like constantly reminding them, because I feel like I've talked to people about rewards and keep talking to them, and then I'll say something like, "Oh, is that on your rewards order?" What's LR? Well, what's LRP? What's rewards? And I'm like, I've told you this 50 times and you still don't. Like, I feel like we think we overtalk it and we don't overtalk it. So
Yeah, we get tired of our own talk, right? But the other people don't. So let me ask you a question, because you're bringing up an interesting point. Do you feel like things like sampling are important, or do you look at things like the 30-day money back guarantee as the way to sample, if you will, on VMG?
I've stopped sampling.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me personally, I feel like if you're going to go to Walmart, you're not going to be able to sample something there.
Yeah.
And I have actually reframed my mindset around retail sales, and I have been able to convert retail sales to enrollments just by loving on them, nurturing them, and they just want to try the products. So for me, I think with the VMGs, the 30 back money day back guarantee is huge because they can try it. And one thing that I was talking with someone else, and they said, actually, just like with MetaPower, if they want to stop because they're like, oh, it's not working, I can't see a result, let them stop before they finish the box. Because then after they've been off of it for 3 or 4 days, they're going to see that they are going to feel that difference and be like, whoa, why am I feeling this difference? And then you can say, it's because you are on MetaPower, you are on VMG. They then still have a few days to take while they order another one. I found that fascinating. I was like, that's a wonderful idea. I'm going to try. So just to share with you something I just learned from someone else.
That's great. No, I love that. That's a really great tip. So how do you keep track of all your people? Like do you use a spreadsheet? Do you use a program? Do you handwrite notes?
I have a CRM that I
Okay.
have everything in. And so it has notes. So anytime I talk to somebody, I can write down what we talked about. And then I can add a task to call them back whenever I say I'm going to. Like, okay, maybe it was just a conversation to say hi. I'm going to make sure that I set a task for me to contact them again in like 30 days or 45 days or whatever, and just put that task on it so that then I'm reminded to do that. And so it helps me follow up with them. So mine is all kind of more in that automated space, just because that's how I work. I don't need paper everywhere.
So
I have enough paper with homeschooling.
So you've loaded your customers in a customer relation management software. Would you mind sharing with all of us what that is, if you recommend it?
Yes, so I use Social Fox, and it's my all-in-one system. So it has calendars, contacts, it does email, telephone, it does all of that. And so for me, that's my office inside of my office. Like that's when I go to work, I'm going to work in there.
And Shannon, that was something you invested in, right? Not just
Correct.
the money, but the training. And this is the thing, when you talk about 2 years getting to this success that you've had in year 3, it was using the Social Fox system, right?
Correct.
And their training and all that good
And
stuff.
I went to so many calls, and just, even if it was just listening in to just retain that information.
I think
So,
that's good to know, because I think for people that are listening to this call that are like, I'm not really I'm not just a technical person. Like, this sounds overwhelming to me. And I we've known each other a long time. And I know this was not, I was like, Shannon Fox is going to do this. Okay, girlfriend, go for it. And like, look at what you've done, right?
Right.
But like anything that we all do that we practice over and over, we get better and then we eventually become a master of it. And that's really the level that you're at this point, which is great.
Right. And if people are starting out, then something like Google Sheets, Google Forms, like you can do that. You don't have to invest the way I did. And, I have a lot of team members that aren't ready to invest in that. And that's okay. Google Forms is still automated. You can still do that. Like you have to figure out what is best for you.
Okay. So just kind of wrapping up a couple more questions, and then I'd love to have Stephanie go through kind of her experiences. A few things. First of all, what do you think was like your greatest achievement in 2024 in doTERRA? If you could think of, what are you most proud of that happened?
Happy top enroller.
Yeah, be the top enroller.
That was something I never thought I really wanted, but as it started showing, I was like, I kind of like this. So,
good for you.
And I got a badge on my convention ticket. So
there you go.
That
Excellent.
and doing that with my family, like my kids and my husband are very much a part of this. And so it's not just my accomplishment, it's theirs. And so when they saw that, they were the first ones I took a picture of and called, and they were so excited for me. Because they're like, we did it. So it's just doing it as a family.
And I love it. And you guys don't know Shannon, but she has a daughter who's absolutely adorable. And she like wants to be a wellness advocate now. And how old is she? Like 9 or something?
No, she's 12 now.
She's 12. Okay. So you only got 6 more years to wait.
Oh, and she's
Anyway,
counting down to her 18th birthday.
but she like puts up little booths and stuff and like gets her friends.
She has
excited
business
about
cards
oils.
that are my refer friendly QR. She literally, she does videos. It's great.
Yeah, she's a doll. She's great. Okay, so every bit of sunshine, sometimes there's a little shadow. What was the darkest moment, or was there something that was really challenging for you in 2024 on anything in the doTERRA world?
I think for me, it's really just keeping my builders and my shares engaged. That was a big struggle for me.
Mhm.
A lot of them have just been frustrated and aren't sure if they want to continue or not. And so just keeping them motivated. And that's been probably my biggest challenge of last year.
Yeah. Any particular thing that you find is working? We all would like to know.
No.
No. Okay. Well, we'll talk about that.
I found
maybe.
a new builder, and I feel like that's getting some,
Yeah.
just getting some new people and some new blood in there sometimes just re-energizes. If you just one person can re-energize your whole leg. So, or
Yeah.
your whole team. So I'm hoping that it's gonna get some momentum. So.
Well, and it's interesting too, because one of the reasons I wanted you to talk, not only because you were top enroller, but I think your story, your path in doTERRA is really interesting because, a lot of times when people go through a big move or their kids are growing up or they're taking care of somebody in some way in their lives, it's easy for all of us to step away. And these last few years have been challenging for people to figure out the way they're going to engage with doTERRA and the role it's going to play. But if they have a need, which is what you're finding with some of these people that are interested in the business, if there's a financial need, this is a wonderful way to get things going. And with some of the changes that are coming this year in 2025 for compensation reward, that's a positive for people to get faster income. I think there's going to be some really cool things coming up. And I'm excited for you with that. As we wrap up with you, is there anything else you want to add in terms of, encouragement to other people, or a tip or anything you want to say?
Well, I would just like to say, sometimes doTERRA has so many amazing oils and products. There's like 5 things for one solution. Find the things that you are passionate about. Find the things that really work for you and talk about those. Don't feel like you have to talk about everything. Because don't be scared to niche down a little bit and just really hone in on what works, because you're going to find your people by talking about what works for you. Like, I'm a mom. I talk about adaptive. I talk about serenity. Deep Blue was one of the other things that got me in here, and digestion. Like, those are my things. And healing hands. If you look at my back office on the what most people are, those are my things, because that's what I talk about. And so I would just encourage you to just pick the few things that you're really passionate about and just speak to those, instead of thinking that you have to talk about every single thing. And I think with the changes with the product of the month being the top oils as well, I think that that's going to be huge in helping as well. So that's just mine. And just keep going. Just be you. The world needs you, and you're going to do amazing.
Thank you so much, Shannon. You are amazing, and love hearing from you and your wonderful, positive outlook on the world, and the joy that you bring to everybody that you interact with. Thank you so much for doing this today.
Yes, thanks for
All
inviting
right,
me.
all good things for 2025. Let's see if you can keep your record.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm excited for you all to, thank you, Shannon, for all of us. Yay, we'll give you applause. I'm really excited for you all to hear from Stephanie Smith, who is an amazing team leader and has built a substantial business with dōTERRA, along with many other wonderful things she does. I first met Stephanie when she was living in Arizona, actually. And in an early Diamond Club effort that I was participating in, I went and visited with Stephanie and another yoga instructor in Scottsdale, and they had already met one of my qualifying leaders here in Utah. And so I got an introduction, went in, met with Stephanie, and she immediately loved the oils. And she is also a tremendous business and life coach. And she is the co-author of the Essential Yoga Program book that she and I and two other teammates put together over 10 years ago now. So Stephanie is someone who really offers a lot of depth to her team in an interesting way. Not only physically, but also emotionally. She helps them with business. She's very much a business leader, and has been for years, and has done a great job building a significant business to Diamond. Like all of us, we are challenged to get our team moving in that same direction. We may have had a few steps back in the last couple of years, but we're all moving forward and taking a look at, where the opportunities are. What I love about Stephanie is she is a fantastic person for conversation with people, really helping them choose what works for them. And as one of the very top team enrollers in my team, I really wanted you to hear from her. So hi, Steph.
Hi, thanks for having me. Sorry about the computer locked up. Yeah.
This is good. We got you on live, which is great. Hey, can you tell everybody a little bit about, I just kind of hinted at the start of your dōTERRA story, but would you tell everybody a little bit about that and what drew you to the oils, and then how that led into the business?
Yeah. So it's funny because you said when I did meet you, it was quick and easy, but it was 2 years leading up to that. Yeah. As you know, Lisa, who's on your front line, owned a yoga studio at the time in Park City. And we had a home here in Heber, and we also had a home in Scottsdale, Arizona, and we would go back and forth. And so I would go and frequent Lisa's studio. This was back in, I don't even know, 2008, 2009, maybe. Mm-hmm. And she would always have the diffuser going, and it smelled great. And so then I was like, oh, this smells really good. Super sensitive with smells too, by the way. And she would give me literature every time that I came into her studio. And then I would go home and I said, Lisa, I'm not doing network marketing. It's a no. And this went on for 2 years. And it's so funny because during that time is when the economy tanked. And my husband at the time was an entrepreneur, and he lost all the funding for all the business he was doing. So we literally went from a lot of money to nothing overnight. And it was a really stressful time for me because I had 3 small children at home that I did not want to take to daycare. And I was a yoga teacher. So I kept praying and contemplating and writing and trying to, decide what can I do so I'm not so dependent on my husband, one, and that I could offer something besides a little bit of money from yoga. And, it just kept showing up for me, and I kind of wasn't listening. And then when you showed up in Scottsdale at the yoga studio where I taught, I said, okay, I surrender. I finally saw it. And I decided right then and there I was going to do this. And I've always been into health and wellness. And so once I started to use the essential oils in my home, I'll never forget, I had I think he was 4 or 5 at the time. And he had a stomach ache. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to try some of these essential oils in the middle of the night, put some Digestin under his stomach or under his tongue for an upset stomach. And he went away. This was in the middle of the night. He woke me up and he went back to bed. Never heard another thing from him. I'm like, ooh, that stuff really works pretty well. So then I started incorporating it into my yoga classes right away. People really enjoyed it. So yeah, it didn't happen fast for me. I'm a little stubborn, but when I decide to do something, I do it all the way.
Well, you did such a remarkable job, not just in, building a business, but building a team. And I think that one of the things, Stephanie, that, and I'm not sure this is your personality and your nature, but it's also your talent, is that you helped inspire so many people through the years to rise up to the dōTERRA opportunity all over the country. And sizable businesses were built. Diamonds and platinums and golds, and people who built significant businesses. Can you talk a little bit about that journey and how that came about from you, the solo, you're a person who's got you've got a personality, people are drawn to you, they're coming to your class, and that was sort of one thing, but you were able to duplicate that. Can you talk a little bit about that? How you're able to duplicate that?
Yes, well, I will tell you that a lot of it is because you helped me, Marty. So helping people that have the interest in building the business and spending time with them of quality to teach them. I mean, I remember when you first started teaching me the comp plan, I'm like, I'm never going to get this. And then you showed me a PowerPoint and I'm like, how do I do this? I didn't do any of that back then. And I learned and you helped me. And that was really key. You showed up in Scottsdale for a lot of events that we did back in the day, which were super fun and very collaborative and had a lot of camaraderie, and people love that. And yeah, so, I always share the oils. So that's a big secret for me. I always just, wherever I'm at, I can be out to dinner somewhere or at a party or, at a girls' lunch or something. And I'll pull my oils out and just start passing them around. So that's always been a way that I have built the business.
So as you've done that and you demonstrated to other people how simple it could be, that was kind of then. And then we all kind of went through some turmoil, right? And then now we're on the flip side of that. And your success this last year was fantastic. And because that's kind of like current events, if you will, can you tell us a little bit about what worked well for you in 2024? By the way, I failed to tell everybody, you are also an astrologer and teach astrology and have brought some of that into your teaching through yoga as well, and in your coaching work. So tell us a little bit about how all those paths, how have you made so much success?
Well, I want to say, first of all, that if you want this to be a real business, you have to treat it like a business. I have so many people that come to me and they're like, oh, I'm like, well, how much money do you want to make? What would make a difference in your life? And people will usually come up with about like $2,000. Well, if you want to make $2,000 a month, you have to show up to that. And it takes something to build in the beginning. It really does. I remember getting some of those checks and being like, this is it for all the work I've been doing. And then I built a significant team. And to be honest, I took off a few years. As you know, I went through an intense coach and training program. And I was able to do that. And I worked very little on my dōTERRA business that provided me the income to build another business. And so I was able to do that. And then, things have been changing a lot over the last 4 years, but I will tell you the secret to my success has been in relationships and caring about the people that you work with and really showing up for them, not just in the way of, oh, I want you to buy something from me. I want you to build doTERRA from me. It really is about, I spent years building relationships with people that they are some of my best friends that are the builders on my team today. And, it's really shown me, because, I joined doTERRA, I want to say 2011, my back office says 2012, but so it was a long time ago, and you don't see it when you're in it. But I will tell you that the web of relationships goes so far beyond doTERRA in so many ways. And, I'm about proactive health. And I do my best to walk my talk. And I think that's another part that's super important. You have to walk the talk. You have to use the products. You have to strive to live a healthy lifestyle. And then other people want to know what you're doing.
That's a really great point, because, I think that the door opens when people say, oh my gosh, you have so much energy. Oh my gosh, you look fabulous. Oh my gosh, how can you bend backwards like that? Or whatever it is that you do. And then you're like, well, actually, it's probably because I've made some other choices. And, and then it gives you that opportunity to educate, but in a graceful way, in a natural way, which I think is another piece, knowing you and knowing how you work with friends and people that are strangers that become friends and become a part of your team. You're an incredible teacher. And I think that comes across in the information that you share with people. Through the process stuff, as getting people in is a piece of that, but keeping them committed to the lifestyle, as you've just mentioned, we're really moving in that era of doTERRA, as I talked about with Shannon, as we get into the rewards program. And the rewards are not just free points. The rewards are your health. The rewards are the savings. The rewards are so many different benefits. What is your feeling about how you're going to continue to share the reward story with people? Do you have anything coming to mind yet about that for this coming year? Is it going to be different? Have you always focused on that?
Well, I've been thinking about this a lot since I heard about the new compensation plan, and I'm actually really good. I'm really excited that they're calling it the rewards program, because that already stimulates imagination of what that is, right? And for one thing, people use products every day that they go and buy at the store. And one of the things that I always like to share with people is you can get most of these products at a much higher value for free, because you earn points. It's like you're shopping from your own store. Marty, I get all of my cleaning supplies from doTERRA for free, because that's what I cash my points out for. And that is a beautiful thing. So, when we're talking about proactive health and being and taking those steps every single day that add to a healthy lifestyle, that's a big part of it that people don't think about, are the cleaning. What do you clean your house with? What do you clean your clothes with? What do you wash your hands with? What do you clean your pots and your pans with? People don't think about that as much, and doTERRA has some really great cleaning products that I actually attribute to keeping people, my whole family healthy, because, they do keep the bugs away. On Guard is a great product for that.
Yeah, it is. I love it. I used to actually diffuse it at the front desk at my wellness center. And I tell people that all the time, because it kept my staff healthy, and kept, if guests came in, to get services and thought getting a massage when they were sick was a good idea, no, one, but two, in case they coughed on us, we were trying to protect ourselves a little bit more. Okay, so looking at the idea of entrepreneurial habits, you talked a little bit about treating this like a business. Is there any particular entrepreneurial habit that you have implemented yourself that you feel has made a difference in your outcome with doTERRA this last year?
Yes, and I've been doing this for years, and I call it my power hour in the morning. And sometimes it's less than an hour, and sometimes it's more than an hour, and I don't miss it. I'll take that back. I miss it on the weekend sometimes, but I'm at least 5 days in a week. And I think it's super important to take care of your mind and your emotions in this time. I use the oils as a part of ritual in my meditation in the morning, in my morning practices. And that matters to me. I'm also a really big fan right now, especially in this time when it seems like the quality of our food has gone down so badly, really focusing in on gut health.
Mm.
And so, in a morning ritual I always tell my coaching clients that that can be whatever you want it to be. Some people like to pray. Some people like to write, journal. Some people like to do breath work and meditation, maybe all of the above. The other thing that I've taught some of my team members to do that I absolutely love is a daily design. A daily design is writing out the day, just bullet points of you seeing your day happen before it happens. And you seeing it, you write it in the past tense as if it already happened, a daily design. I signed up this person today. I'm so excited. My meditation was great. I had this great lunch with my son. Whatever matters to you. But it also includes business as well. And then it's fun to go back and look at the manifesting that you are able to do from that, imagining your day and designing it in a way that you want it to be. You'll also find that you will remember. You'll be like, oh, wait, was that on my daily design? Was that on my list today? So I like doing that.
I love that idea. And is there a limit to how many things can go on the daily design?
No, it's totally up to you. And if it doesn't show up, you just keep writing it every single day. I found the best builder today. I'm so excited. I just keep writing it.
Nice.
And it's amazing how it actually does start to show up.
That is a really powerful technique. I love that. Thank you for sharing that with everybody.
Yeah.
And that is a great entrepreneurial habit. And through all that, what do you feel like was your greatest achievement in 2024?
Oh, 2024. In
dōTERRA, not life.
dōTERRA. Gosh, I don't feel like I have that great of achievement in dōTERRA in 2024. I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like my greatest achievement has been in my spiritual growth. Focusing in on that and being relentless to showing up to my meditation every morning. And that has helped with everything else.
Yeah.
And one other thing that I want to share with you that I'm getting back to, I kind of let it go over the holidays because the holidays are a little easier. I try to do 5 things every day, just 5 things. And you could start with 3. Three things for business and that's it. And then you feel like you're at least doing something, because a lot of times I feel like we get lost in the sauce of so much sauce. And if we can just focus on a few things every single day, we'll keep the momentum going.
I love that.
It's going to show up.
Yeah.
It might show up different ways than you think. There's going to be a lot of expect the unexpected this year. And I say that from the astrology, but a lot of good unexpected too. So it depends what energy you're aligning with. That's why I point to the morning practice as being such an important part of daily habits.
Well, and it's setting us off in the right path each day, right? Each day we have a new opportunity to create what we're trying to do in our world. And I think with dōTERRA, because it is both a personal and a professional opportunity, it gives us this a set of tools that we can choose to reach out to and incorporate into various aspects of our day. My oil of the day today is peace. And I've been coating myself with peace for days and days and days. And I'm looking forward to sharing that kind of a message, that kind of a vibe today. Stephanie, I love these ideas. And, if I didn't make it clear to people, your coaching, your life coaching and business coaching for people has made a tremendous impact for so many. And if people are interested in that, please reach out to Stephanie or email me and I'll get you her contact info. She does a terrific job of that if you're looking to step into that arena. I think that, part of it is finding the right fit. And I've had a lot of coaches over the years, and I tell you, it made all the difference in my dōTERRA business. and my life. And I've had some fabulous guidance. Finding someone to help you on that path, whether it's an upline or it's someone that you work with professionally, can make a massive difference in where you go with your business. So I just encourage you to think about that. I think both Shannon and Stephanie have talked to that point in their own way today, referencing the fact that they put in the work. They put in a few years to get to the results. And not everything is a straight trajectory up in dōTERRA. While we all have been very grateful for the growth of the company, we may find as a business, like any business in the universe, that there are years where we grow and there are years that we retract. And the key question of how we are going to be successful in this is what we're willing to do when the retraction happens. And that is something that requires us to dig deep within ourselves, which is where our personal practice and our personal growth and development really comes into play. This is when we get to reset our target and head in that direction. Stephanie, is there anything else that you'd like to offer to anybody today as we wrap up our time with you?
I think that the biggest thing is you just have to keep showing up, and consistency, authentic relationships, and consistently showing up to those is what can build your business. Mm-hmm. And listening to what people need, listening to where they are, listening to where they are with their money. It can all come into dōTERRA in a beautiful way.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And, it's not necessarily that you're dealing with, 30 people a day. It's like you're dealing with one and you're doing it well. Or you're doing 2, or whatever it is. I think the numbers that you guys put out there in terms of 3 actions, 5 actions, the 5 days a week thing, this is really the discipline, right? It doesn't matter if you're learning to play the piano or you're building a business, you've got to stick with it. And so, I think that's a great message that you both shared. I so appreciate your time today. And there may be questions that people have. Aisha, I don't know if you want people to put a question in the chat or what would be appropriate. There's some great chat commentary in here.
Marty, can I just share one more thing?
Absolutely.
I know that Shannon is a master at the whole online building on social media. I have done almost 0 of that. I just wanted to share that so it can be done either way.
Absolutely. Which is kind of why it was so great to have you both on today, because you both have done both. Stephanie, you're very consistent with your email work, and Shannon is that's where she's put a lot of her mastery effort. And, you've put your mastery effort into more of the interpersonal and the coaching and the going deep with people. And Shannon is in that in certain ways as well. She started in that and she's coming back to that. So it's kind of interesting to see how our businesses change with us, right? Because it is a reflection of who we are. And, really a lot of great ideas today. I hope everybody that's listening picked up a few different tips and, some suggestions, maybe food for thought. And if you have any other comments you can put it in the chat. Rewards of your health. Ooh, I like that. Relationship building is a real secret sauce. Passed around the oils at a church book club with the last book we read. Covering areas of forgiveness, passion, and peace. Ah, yes. Being able to console and offer consolation. People love them, wanted to know more. Absolutely. Yeah, good job. There's really a lot of things. There's always so many great opportunities for people to have what we have. And, lots of little comments here. So anyway, I just want to say, I think this has been great. Hopefully everybody got some tips and ideas. I'm going to make a plug for next week while I've got the podium. And that is that this time next week, we are going to have a phenomenal opportunity, you guys, to hear from Dr. Hill. Dr. Hill is the one person who stands up and says, we are an essential oil company. If you're an essential oil fan like me, then that's your call. If you want to learn about other things, we have other calls for that. But Dr. Hill is going to come talk to us about essential oils. And I'm thrilled because there's no one in the world that knows them like he does. And please, if you have an opportunity to ask some friends to join in on the call, the more the merrier. I'd love to see, honestly, I'd love to see 100 people on this call with him. He is someone that we get very few opportunities to hear from, and having him live is honestly an honor. And I think we need to treat it that way. So thank you for trying to get a few more folks on the call next week. I'm so glad of the turnout we had today, and hope that that was some good information for people.
Marty, Shannon, Stephanie, thank you so very much. That was just so rich and full of so much goodness. And I really want to reiterate a few themes. I know, we've been kind of feeding through that, but from my own experience, I've been with dōTERRA for, going on 15 years this year. Consistency, like those small steps you do every day with your business, with your health, with your relationships, with everything. That's what builds a solid and long-lasting foundation. And really thinking that, dōTERRA it's for the long term. I see that people will jump in and they'll do a lot, and then they just fall off and they're like, well, nothing happened. And that's just not how this rolls. Like, and the thing is time is going to pass anyway, right? So what we do now to set up our future is major. So if you want something different in 2 to 3 years down the road, yeah, you got to put in the work. You got to show up. You got to treat it like a business. And I love that. And also the personal development piece and like those pieces, and also relationship building. Like sometimes I think we all want this magic bullet. Well, what do I do? What's the formula? That is the formula right there. Daily, consistent action, self-development, relationship building, right? I mean, that is the magic core formula. Am I missing anything there? But that's how I built my business, one person at a time. I think sometimes we have this idea, oh, I have to be, an influencer on Instagram or whatever, because we see that. It's not how I built my business. I built it one person at a time, person to person, classes, one-on-one teas, doing my own work, digging in, right? So I just want to really reinforce that and not overlook the true value. And also, as Stephanie said, really setting those intentions strongly and calling that in. That cannot be overlooked. I know, Mika, do you want to add a couple of
I
thoughts?
do. Marty, you said something about the rewards, or Shannon, I don't know who said it. Okay. One of you lovely women. The rewards is your health. Who said that? I don't know who said that, but that is such a great one-liner, because I am now 57 and I've been using these dōTERRA products consistently. And it's really, and I'm strong and I do a lot of activities and so that you're a walking advertisement, especially as you get older, because it really shows around the 50s. If you have
Or
not
later,
been,
or later.
yeah. Or later, if you have not been, I'm just gonna say, using dōTERRA products. It's so obvious. So I'm gonna use that. The rewards are your health.
Yeah. I think, yeah, and I really believe that, Dr. Micah, because I'm going to be 67 in March, and I have people ask me all the time, like, what is it you do? I'm like, well, I've been using essential oils and dōTERRA supplements for the last 16 years. That's what I do. And I exercise, and I try to eat well, and I try to laugh a lot, and whatever other things one needs in life. I have a lot of friends. But I think that, we have to keep remembering why we stepped into this dance. Why did we say yes to the oils or products? And never, as to Shannon said, we get bored hearing our own stories, but we need to keep telling our same stories, and because just because we're sick of it doesn't mean someone else has ever heard it or remembers that they heard it. Yeah. So good call. Thanks,
Yes.
everybody.
So good. And again, please, please, please help us put out the word about Dr. Hill. This is really, truly a gift and a big deal. and we want to show him a really big welcome. And so it's really important to have all of you here live if you're able to join. So please make that a priority next Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. You can share the links and the memes on your own social media or in your email or however you want to put out that word. So please help us promote that call. And again, ladies, thank you so, so very much. Amazing, really, really good stuff. And we look forward to seeing you all next week.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Take care.